see you, as always. Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for Thoughtcast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the mostest, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's going on?
We got to do the build-up. Yeah! Whatever that means. I don't know. What's up?
I like it. It's going to become a regular thing. I'll just snip that out of there and then put it into every other episode from now on.
That's a good way to do it.
Steven's having a nightcap. Steven, what are you drinking?
We are having a 12-year Scotch Lagavulin from Nick Offerman with my vintage 1986 vintage cup because I'm limited edition.
There's only one of you.
My mommy gave me this cup, and it's great.
Aww, I love that.
Right.
I'm drinking nothing. Earlier today, I was drinking strawberry kiwi Kool-Aid, so there.
Yum.
Because I'm a child. I made it with Splenda, you know, for the no calories. But yeah, delicious.
Still good.
Yeah, buddy. Still
I'll
good.
allow it.
Totally. What have you been up to, Steve?
Work with a side of work and a little more fun and work and cooking a little bit here and there. So yeah, what about you?
Work. The most cooking I did this week was I made peanut butter jelly sandwiches for the week to take in a lunchbox.
Oh, lovely.
Let's see, what did I do today? I pulled a rookie move. Several weeks ago, I made like kind of beef stroganoff, but with like meatballs and some veggies like peas, lima beans, carrot, green bean. Like, I know you don't like it, but it was just what I had in the freezer. But I mean, you can cover a multitude of sins and flavors with cream of mushroom soup. I'm just saying.
It's true, you can.
So
that's the only reason why I have green bean casserole is because of the cream of mushroom soup.
But I messed up and I froze it into a large container, and the large container was like 3 servings, and I was like, I don't want to eat this 3 days in a row, so I thawed it out just enough to be still a safe temperature and chiseled it apart into 3 smaller containers. That was like my huge accomplishment for the day. So now I don't have to eat it all at once.
Yeah, I would have just gotten my cheapest knife and tried to cut into it 3 different portions.
Man. I don't know. I probably would have hit a finger, knowing me. So
I know, me too. Wait, me too, right?
He's just kidding. So, it's still there. Don't be scared.
I still have it. See?
Hey.
Those of you watching at home, yes, you can see that I still have all my fingers.
Steve, what was the most amazing thing you ate this week?
We were teaching. When I say we, I mean me. I was teaching my followers on social media how to make oxtail stew.
Ooh, I saw that video.
It was delicious.
Yes.
My problem, and it really wasn't a problem because I enjoyed it, but I was told it was supposed to be cold. We were supposed to get a cool front, get down into the 60s. I mean, I love that weather to be honest, because it's light sweater weather. Go out in shorts, you're good. But it was hot, and so I figured, you know what? I've already committed. We're gonna do this.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I
bet it still tasted great anyway.
Oh no, flavor was on
you're like
point.
The soup guy. You like soup and stuff anyway, right? When it's warm.
I like sandwiches, but I'll eat a soup when it's hot outside. But not typically, you know. But like I said, I committed. So I was supposed to be making Halloween stuff, but it was supposed to be a Halloween stew, air quotations, and I was going to try to make like my mushrooms look like little skeletons or skulls and whatnot. But then I just got lazy. I was like, it's a oxtail stew.
Okay, but like when it gets cold, can you still do that? Because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I went to the dollar store and picked up all these little cups, like popcorn bowls or whatever. And they're all Halloween themed, and I have to make something like hot. The problem is, what do you make that's Halloween treats? Cookies. Sure. Like I've already done Halloween cookies. I've already done Halloween marshmallows. Like it's you got to think outside the box and really, really think. So there's that. But
do you like? I'm very much like
you can only make so many Halloween cookies. It's a pumpkin cookie, a pumpkin shaped cookie, a pumpkin spiced cookie, a pumpkin cookie with Halloween M&Ms. You see where I'm going with this?
So there's like all the pumpkin things, and I know that's where your heart and your mind goes because you be about the pumpkin.
Because I be about the Halloweens.
But I have to think of my favorite classic monster, and that would be Frankenstein's monster. And so when I think Halloween, I always think like green. So I'm like, you could totally do like lime green Rice Krispie treats. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
I think I've done Rice Krispie treats. At this point, I've made a lot of content, and I think I've done it. But if I haven't, then yeah.
And then to me, it's like I'm super lazy, so I would be like, play on words. The Count Chocula cereal goes into the Krispies treat, and then it's Halloween, right? Like everything chocolate is Halloween. Done.
Wow, that's a very good point.
Done.
Yeah.
Steve, have you ever made popcorn balls?
I have, actually. I like them. They're delicious.
I tried to make some sugar-free maybe like a week and a half ago, and it didn't work. But I just ate it with a spoon. I really was not successful at all.
Well, I know that's not go.
It was just the wrong treat to try to do that with. I was like, okay, no.
Well, I know that's not the most amazing thing that you've eaten this week. So what is the most amazing thing that you've eaten this week?
I don't even know if you're ready. And you're going to be so proud of me, too. Okay?
I'm proud of you regardless.
Aww.
Yay!
Okay, you're going to be so proud. There's this place down in town called Oro, and I had pasta that they have with you ready? Drum roll, please. A truffle cream sauce. And it was delicious because it wasn't too strong. But the best part of the pasta is that it had shreds of duck pastrami in it. Oh my gosh, dude! It was so good. I know, it was so good.
My face is gonna freeze like that.
I know.
I'm very proud of you.
Just tell everybody it's the Wi-Fi.
It's because
phenomenal.
Every week we talk about me enjoying pickles just a little bit more. So now you have to start liking truffles just a little bit more.
I'm working on it.
A little bit more.
A little bit. A little bit.
You know what's funny? It's so funny that you say duck pastrami, because I was actually telling my wife that I still have a free brisket in my freezer, and I would like to make it into pastrami. However, I have yet to do a corned beef. So I think I'm going to have to make corned beef out of that brisket, because why not?
You've yet to make corned beef in your life, or just this year?
Yes, I've yet to make it in my life.
Oh,
I've made pastrami a bunch of times. Tri-tip pastrami, beef cheek pastrami, beef tongue pastrami, but I've never made like corned beef.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh my God, I love corned beef so much. Now, do you want to make corned beef for a sandwich though, right?
I just want to make corned beef. But yes, a sandwich would definitely make it lovely.
It's a corned beef pastivy.
Well, folks, I hope you all have a great night. Thanks for being punny.
It's been real. Do you like corned beef and cabbage though?
Oh, dude, I love cabbage too.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I would totally do corned beef and cabbage.
It's almost. Go ahead.
I sometimes do, but like in cabbage rolls and stuff like that. I've done that before, but like I said, I have yet to make an actual corned beef from scratch.
So wait, you said sometimes you put corned beef in a cabbage roll?
Yeah, like you like the whole
the ground beef in it.
Cabbage rolls, yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, did you put Thousand Island on it, bro?
I don't remember.
Wait. What if you hear me out. What if you boil the cabbage leaves and you put shredded up homemade corned beef in there, and then you refrigerate it and then air fried it, and then you dipped it in Thousand Island? Shut up.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, that sounds so good.
In the words of one of my favorite social media people, the Beardo Weirdo, I'll never be a skinny man. I would probably roll that in like some cornflakes or something like that. You know, just grind them up real fine. I think that would be legit. Yeah. Better for pork rinds. Well, and it's still keto.
Hey.
Yeah.
I can make it not keto really fast.
Yeah.
If you make homemade corned beef, you should make Reuben egg rolls then. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I don't know.
My cholesterol can only get so clogged.
It'll be okay.
And I will totally add to that. So
it'll be okay.
Challenge accepted.
Just drink extra water and
I know, right?
Do another workout. Like, it'll be fine.
Drink an extra gallon of water.
Eat an apple.
Yeah. Flush it all out. Yeah. Easy, totally.
It'll be good.
Yeah. That's something we will have to get to when we get to. I'm gonna try. How long would you let a corned beef brine?
That's a good question. Like the very one time I've made it in my life, I bought the kit. They have the kit. They have it in the store. It has like the packet and the directions, and it's like a little half brisket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably brine it for like a month.
Whatever the package said.
I'd probably do like 2 weeks to about a month. And and lately, whenever I've been doing like my pastrami's, which aren't really pastrami's because they're brined more than anything else, I let it go for like 2 weeks, and I put so much seasoning to where that brine is just real thick and gelatinous, and you're like, I don't know if I should cook this and eat this because I might get sick, but let's try it anyways. And I have yet to.
Have you gotten sick yet?
Like, not yet. Knock on wood.
What's the longest you ever brined anything?
I think 3 weeks.
Was it lamb? Like your lamb bacon? Was that?
No, it was tri-tip. No. It was total tri-tip. Yeah.
Nice.
Once I discovered I'm not going to get sick from it, I do it from time to time, but I'll let it go 2 weeks more than anything else.
Steve, did I tell you that I made Jell-O salad? Did we talk about this?
No, but tell me about it.
So I was looking for some low sugar, higher protein desserts I could have like throughout the week. And I had just had a hankering, like it reminds me of Thanksgiving, even though I'm not crazy about Thanksgiving, but I just really wanted like a Jell-O salad of some kind. And so all the old recipes for lime Jell-O salad, they usually have like cottage cheese and pineapple, or they have like mayonnaise, or they have like mayonnaise and Sprite, or they have like cream cheese or whatever. But anyway, I looked through all these Mima's recipes that I could find on the Googles, and I found one that was cream cheese based, but I subbed cottage cheese and I pureed it. And not pureed it. Jeez Louise. I blended it in the blender. And anyway,
that sounds good.
I ended up with a 9x13 dish of, I use like sugar-free lime Jell-O. There's about a gram of protein in a serving of Jell-O, and there's 4 servings like in the little baby box. And then it's like gelatin based. It's like the same protein you get from like bone broth, right?
Right.
And then the cottage cheese is like packed. So a pound of cottage cheese and a regular size can, like a 15-ounce can of crushed pineapple. I blended it all until it was smooth and made it into a 9x13. Dude, there was 6 grams of protein in each serving, like 100 calories and very little sugar. And it was delicious. It tasted
sounds like it would be.
Well, yeah. It tasted super nostalgic because I cut it up into squares, and then I made like I froze a couple of them, and they had kind of a sherbet quality. So it was great. It was really great. Yeah.
See, I thought you were gonna be like, I got lime green Jell-O and mixed it with some romaine and some tomato and cucumber. No. I'm kidding. I know you would never do that. Yeah. No. We would never do that. No, Jell-O and
I might. Well, I hate when there's aspic. Like it came from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Ugh, gross.
I don't think I have the. I'm not that adventurous,
I don't like. Did you try the aspics in culinary school?
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was fun.
Like this tomato aspic wasn't like terrible. I can't imagine. Imagine it's the 50s. You have a high-powered advertising job. Your boss invites you to his house for dinner, and his wife makes like tomato aspic. I'd be like, I quit. Bye. Here's my 2-week notice.
In the 50s, you would say, "Oh my gosh, this is going to revolutionize how dinner is made."
Yeah. Golly gee, beef. This is incredible. No, I just
come 1995, people are like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
I like my Jell-O great and from a box.
Come 2024, everyone's like, "Oh, I've got my food tattoos, and tomato aspic is not one of those tattoos. I'm gonna have to pass." I still have no tattoos.
0?
None. I could barely make up my mind on what the best thing I've had all week to eat is.
What do you think?
Think about a tattoo that's gonna be on my body for life. Yeah.
Hey, the cool thing is, it's like you can just cover them up with something different when you get tired of them.
Nowadays, you can just laser it off.
Ugh, I hear it hurts a lot, but yeah.
I wouldn't want to find out.
I had a couple that I wouldn't say that I regretted, but they didn't turn out great, and I got them covered up with something else. So easy peasy. So
fair enough.
Anyways, hey, what are we talking about? We talked a little bit about knives at the top of the show. So I'm gonna do a little. You ready for the segue?
Did we though? I feel like it was before we hit record.
You ready? No, we talked about losing fingers. Was that it? Yeah, you said
you can't play rock paper scissors because you're gonna pick rock every time.
Yeah. So Steve was talking about using my best knife. One of the questions I get asked a lot as a chef, and I'm sure you do too, Steve, is what's your favorite brand of knife? What's your favorite brand of pot and pan? What's your favorite this and that? Right?
I get asked stuff like that.
Sometimes
I give them a look at like a deer in the headlights half the time. Plastic.
So, plastic, serrated. Yeah, so I just figured, tonight we would just talk about some gadgets and tools and gizmos and kind of give our stamp of approval or explain why we won't.
That's true. That's a very good call.
So, yeah. What do you think? Air fryers up first.
Oh, duh. I hate them so much because they are so great and they make me so happy.
Because they're so convenient.
Because they're so awesome.
What all have you done in the air fryer, Steve?
It's more like what haven't I done in the air fryer? Okay, someone got after me for making a steak in the air fryer. They're like, yeah, you could do it, but should you? And I didn't respond because I was like, well, yeah, of course you should. But I mean,
was that the video that you posted? Did somebody
with the chuck eye steaks?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, those chuck eye steaks are still good. No, they weren't malicious about it. They were just like, yeah, I mean, that's cool and all, but why do that when you can grill it? But in my defense, and I'm not blaming that person for nothing because totally legit question, but I had no gas in my house, and yes, I could have easily lit my pit, but I didn't want to. So I air fried a steak.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the answer to that is because I can. And if you don't like it, there's plenty of other videos.
It just comes down to we're just bored and we're just going to experiment. That's all it came down to.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. What about you?
I totally get that. So as you know, I was slow to come around to the air fryer. I have made a cake in it. I've made muffins. I've made mini quiches.
Nice.
I've used it for things that you would usually fry, like frozen chicken nuggets and wings. Wings in the air fryer is it's a game changer, I think. Just anything. So I'm not against deep frying. I mean, it's not a health thing. I just don't. The thing about deep frying at home, right, is like you don't have the filter machine, like we would in a restaurant, in a commercial kitchen. You whatever. I don't
want my house smelling like oil.
Like whatever you cook in there is going to be in the walls. It's just going to linger there. And then it's like, what do you do with that oil afterward? Like I was on a falafel kick maybe a year and a half ago. It was just like falafel 3-4 times.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, like 3-4 times a week. And I was making it home, like shallow frying it in a cast iron skillet. That oil tastes like falafel after. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's just not.
Why were you eating the oil or drinking it?
No. So I would drain it afterwards.
Busted.
Right? And then I would reuse it because it's expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what do you mean busted? Shut up. And so, shut up. I was trying to use it for other things like sauteing vegetables. I didn't want it to go to waste. There's a lot of oil.
I know. I still have a lot of lard in my fridge.
And the thing about frying at home is like, where do you put it after you're done? You're gonna kill part of the yard. What's your option? You can't pour it down the sink. You can't flush it down the toilet. So you can't ruin your garbage disposal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You freeze it in baggies and then put it in the garbage.
I throw it in the alley and pray that the raccoons and the feral cats will go eat it all.
I didn't think about like raccoons and feral cats just hitting an oil slick and then like dancing around like it's an ice skating rink. Whee!
It's not. Yeah, they would probably eat all the dirt and the grass that the oil is has soaked up, and it would probably be like Lady in the Tramp.
Yeah, I love that.
Although it wouldn't be that at all because they'd be fighting, to get as much grease as possible.
But yeah, so like I'm a fan of the air fryer, and I couldn't even start to recommend a brand because I think the one I have is like an off brand, and it doesn't really matter to me.
You got off Temu, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I'm not brave enough. Like I'm like, oh, I can't risk it. No, I bought it at Walmart. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is a kitchen and table, which is from the world's greatest grocery retailer, Stevie B. It's one of those 8-core ones, and I mean, you could do quite a bit with it. You could bake, you can air fry, roast. HDB. HE Steve.
HE Steve.
No, Stevie B is better. But I mean, in all seriousness, though, like I think those things are great. So, what's the next thing?
Yes. Steve, do you own a food processor?
Yes, I do.
What do you use it for?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh,
I do not use it.
No. What's the last time you used it? Like what? Ever? Was it like
no? I've used it, but I use it like once every 2 years.
Is it something that you could do in the blender?
I think so. Most of the time, yeah. I mean, like unless I'm making like ground beef or ground meat, but even then, I have my grinder for that.
Right?
Yeah, I have a meat grinder, so I don't use it for anything.
So I'm like 50-50 on a food processor. I feel like nothing makes hummus like a food processor. And I have a Ninja food processor, so it has a plastic blade that you can use for dough.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Alton Brown's 3-pulse kind of pie crust. But we'll just be really honest. Anybody who knows me knows I would be full of crap if I said I had made a homemade pie crust in like the last 10 years. Because it comes in a box and it tastes really good and it's made with butter. So I just
is good, yeah.
Yeah, right? I could make cookie dough in there, but why dirty anything besides a bowl, right? And so, but the food processor is good for hummus, and it's good for falafel, and it's good for, I can't name anything after that because I don't use it enough. It's kind of a waste.
I use my blender for hummus. You know what I'm saying?
You totally can. You totally can.
And
my blender has like a skinny base, a skinny pitcher to it, and it's just kind of a pain. Like it doesn't really do right. So yeah, but I get that.
Yeah, I mean, food processors are pretty cool, but yeah, like I said, I don't use them enough. I could, but then I'm like, oh, that's an extra dirty dish and stuff like that.
What about the shred attachment, like for carrots? Like the disc shredder. You just buy
I just don't use it. Yeah. No, I don't. I just don't do.
What if you were? Do you have something else that you would shred vegetables with? Like a box grater?
If I'm gonna shred,
you have a spiralizer?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, I was just gonna say like a box grater, cheese grater, something along those lines.
Yeah. You have a spiralizer?
That's just me. I don't. I don't care for them because usually it's zucchini that you spiralize. Of course, you can do beets and carrots and stuff like that. But I hate zucchini because when you spiralize it, you don't deep fry it. You don't put it with ranch and deep fry it.
Heard.
Yeah.
You like yellow squash? I can't remember.
Yellow squash, zucchini. I can leave it.
Hey, and by the way, everybody, like this is just Steve and I talking. We don't care if you have every one of these appliances. Like you do you, okay? You do you, buddies.
Yes, and if you disagree with me not liking zucchini or squash, just know that I like it deep fried. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that can be fixed by deep frying. So just saying.
Deep frying and dredging ranch.
Steve, have you ever had squash casserole?
No.
It's yellow squash, butter, crushed Ritz crackers, and cheddar cheese. I feel like you could like it.
If there was crackers in there, yes.
It's cooked within an inch of its life, and every inch of it is covered in cheese.
If there's a lot of cheese, yeah. I can do that.
I think you could tough it out.
I would totally just pretend like I'm eating a big bowl of cheese and be happy.
I feel like you could tough it out. I would say the most use my food processor got when I lived in Dallas was I was on this kick where I was making brownies out of black beans. It was probably like the most use it ever got.
I would totally try that.
Oh, they're delicious. I'll send you the recipe. They're almost as delicious as your recipe for sweet potato brownies that I still have. Yeah. Nice. I love that recipe.
I like that.
It's in my phone. But yeah, no, it's like black beans, and it doesn't even have flour or egg in it. They're pretty magical, and it has a peanut butter swirl through the top. You would really like it. So
sounds like I would, yeah.
And totally. Beans are the musical fruit. Just saying.
Yeah, just ask my dog.
If you need help tooting, just saying.
Just ask my dog because he likes to eat beans. And when I say my dog, I mean me.
You mean you. Mm-hmm. All right. So to the food processor's cousin, the blender. What do you use it for?
What don't I use it for? Mm-hmm. I use it to air fry. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, I mowed the yard with it.
Right. No. My neighbors think I'm weird for it, but you know,
you're just running around your front yard with the blenders like in front of you.
Like I said, I like to make my hummuses in the blender. Of course, you know, like margaritas, and there's some sauces. Like every now and then, if I just don't feel like making a hollandaise over the stovetop, I will totally throw it all in the blender and just let it go that way. Yeah. And it comes out great every time because it emulsifies like that.
Right.
You know what? I will go back to the food processor. I do like to make Caesar dressing in my food processor because it incorporates so much air and it helps emulsify. But the blender does the same thing too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, like, so that's a really good point for everybody listening and watching. And by the way, thank you. The food processor has more surface area. So sometimes, like if you're blending something, the base can get kind of warm because of the amount of time it takes. Like it doesn't have as much room to move. So that's like a super valid point. Yeah, I get that. I find myself using the blender the least, the actual blender proper. I have like the Ninja system that has like the bullet and it's smaller. So like when I blended the cottage cheese, I could fit a whole pound of it into the bullet container. It's like a smoothie. It's like a smoothie cup essentially, right? It's like a 24-ounce with a little blade, but I could just put it on and tap, tap, tap until it was pureed. I didn't have to mess with the blender, and they're easier to clean. So I just kind of find myself that the only time I'm using the blender really is like salad dressing. But I had a stick blender for that. So it's like, and then it's less stuff to clean still, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like I was thinking while you were talking, I was like, well, maybe this is the last time I put like soup in the blender. Like I love to put like carrots, tomatoes, onion, you know, garlic, shallot, cherry tomato, tomatoes or butternut squash or like acorn squash on a sheet pan, roast it all up with like cinnamon and curry powder and like make soup out of it, like puree it, right?
Yeah.
For the fall. But I don't mess with any of that anymore. I pour it in a pot now and cover it with cream and broth and then use the stick blender. So
I do that too, but sometimes it doesn't really work and get everything like I want it to. So sometimes I'll take the extra step and use like the Vitamix blender that we have, and everything comes out just
those things are, it's incredible.
Oh yeah, well they're expensive, but they're so worth it.
So if you're making like mayonnaise or aioli, do you use the blender or the food processor?
I will use the blender most of the time because and this is why I hardly ever use it, is because I always forget that I have a food processor. Because and it's funny because it's in my cabinet behind a piece of glass and it's right there in front of my face, but I'm just so used to using the blender.
Yeah, I get it. I think people go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the cool thing about using the blender is you can just throw everything in there all at once and it'll emulsify like that too, you know, versus
it's like
having to wait for it to emulsify in the food processor. That's just me though.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I really think it depends on what it is, and you bring up a really good point. There's some gadgets in my kitchen, some tools and stuff that I use more than others, just because like they're my favorite.
Yeah,
there's not an actual good reason or science reason, right? Or like even a common sense deal. It's just like, this is the knife I like. It might not be the right knife for this job, but this is the knife that I like because it's my favorite.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know,
I'm not a big fan of people who are snobs about it. Like, oh, you're using a vegetable knife to cut this. It's like, get out of here. It works. It gets the job done.
I want the knife that feels the most comfortable in my hand so that I'm safe.
Well, that too. But I mean,
no, I'm saying like, then that's why to me it doesn't matter. Like there's a large piece of the population that will use a paring knife to do what they were intended to do, pare down vegetables, which is to peel them.
Yep.
I don't think that's as safe as a peeler because you're cutting toward yourself, and also you're cutting over the sink or a trash can, which is gross because you dropped something in there. You know what I mean? And so that's where I take that hard line, is like they taught us in culinary school not to do that, even when you're using a peeler, like using it away from yourself, right?
Yep.
But whether you have like the old school one or like the Y peeler, it doesn't really matter. But that's where that comes into play. Like I love to use a paring knife to take the bones out of like a ham or like a chicken,
nice.
Separate a thigh from a leg, right? And that's not its intended use, but I don't care because that's what feels right to me.
Yeah. Usually I'll use my chef's knife for stuff like that, but I will use a boning knife from time to time if I'm just not wanting to ruin my good knife, my good chef's knife. But that thing I use for everything. So there's also that.
Yeah. Like, and I have like some interesting, I have my knife rack kind of looks like the island of misfit toys. Like there's nothing that matches. There's nothing that's a part of the set or anything like that. There's kind of things that I've collected over the years. And I have a really small, like 5.5-inch Santoku chef knife, which is teeny tiny, but it's sharp and it will do everything.
Exactly.
So, and then I have, an 11-inch chef's knife that I use for like watermelon, butternut squash, things like that, where I need a little heft, like in the handle. But yeah, like
I use my tennis for everything.
Yeah. I mean, and you certainly can. I mean, and the last time I used a flexible boning knife was like for a small fish, like a trout.
Yeah. I feel like that's like those are some gadgets that you've been wanting to talk about. Tell me, what is it about knives that makes you happy?
Everything. I think knives are a chef's best friend.
It's technically a gadget, no?
I think so. We'll say tools. We'll put everything in the tools category.
Tool. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer a French chef's knife or a Santoku with the rounded top?
I like the Santokos, but I mean, give me a knife, I will make some cuts.
I mean,
I don't care what
as long as it's sharp. Do you have like a preferred knife material?
No, not at all. Give me a knife, I will make something happen.
I used to like the enamel coated ones. Like the ones where the blade is the same color as the handle. It was like all one piece. I really like those a lot. And
like the globals and stuff.
Not even that expensive. These just like they would come in like bright pink and bright blue and like neon green.
Gotcha.
They were like a real cheap buy. They're like $12.99. You could find them on sale. But they're like wicked sharp, and you could keep them really sharp. And they have a really thin blade, so they were like kind of nifty for stuff, and they could be really fast. But yeah, I just kind of like I like Henckels, just a stainless, and something where the riveting goes all the way down the handle.
Yeah.
I used to think everything with a wood handle looked cool, but they're just gross. I don't like them. Bacteria gets in there. I don't know. It's not right or wrong. It's just my preference. Like, I had a really nice ceramic knife that I paid a lot of money for once, and it fell on the floor and broke. Like, yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, well, that's the end of that.
Yeah. A friend of mine got me into Shuns, and ever since then, I haven't looked back. If I ever use or buy knives, I like to buy Shuns. The problem though is I don't want to use them because I don't want to mess them up.
Yeah.
You spend all that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are a lovely collection knives. If I have people over, or I mean, even in my videos, I'll use my Shuns.
Yeah.
But I'll just use it.
Stupid.
I'll just use my cheap $12 knives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I always think people ask me like what the best knife is a lot, and I was just telling them exactly what I already told you is it's whatever you feel most comfortable with in your hand, because you're going to be less likely to make mistakes,
cut yourself,
get nervous, cut yourself, and just safety first.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's I have some tiny paring knives in my kitchen, and to be quite honest, the only things I ever use those for is like opening mail. Like they don't touch food. They're just like, meh. And if I have to peel something, it's gonna be a peeler, and if it's something large enough to peel with a knife, it's gonna be my chef.
Yeah. I
So,
agree, 100%.
When's the last time you used a bird's beak, Steven?
Back when I was in restaurants, hotel restaurants, let me rephrase that. So it's been about 12, 13 years since I've used one.
Yeah.
Turn
For those
potatoes.
of you for those of you who don't know, it's just a slightly curved, it looks like a bird's
beak.
Yeah. And so we use it for turning potatoes and turning mushrooms, tourneing mushrooms. So
you can tournay a mushroom?
Yeah,
do you remember? Fluting mushrooms.
Oh, fluting. Sorry. Yeah.
I was about to say, I mean, like, there's not a lot that I remember. I always use a paring knife to flute mushrooms.
It's late and I'm an idiot. You use a straight?
No, not at all. Knife? But yeah, I just use a straight edge.
Oh, nice. I just kind of I found that it helped with like the kind of round movement.
I never thought about that, to be honest. I always thought, because I'm left-handed, so the left-handed side of my brain is like, oh no.
Everything's straight lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I made a visit to a culinary school this week, and it filled me with like a sense of dread that I could not describe. Everything. No, I just like walked in the kitchen and I took a tour, and I was just like, I'm too old for this, and I could never ever go back to this ever. Like, I've seen too much, man.
Like as a teacher or just as a student?
Yeah, just as a student. It just filled me with like, yeah, no thanks. They were doing like sauce and stock and like practicals, and I was just like, ugh. So I was there to like potentially recruit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to like Chef Hawks and what you do, but it was kind of like that dream that everybody has about like showing up and not being ready for a test. That's how I felt standing there. I was like, oh God, if one more person in a neckerchief passes me, I'm gonna have like a PTSD fit. I can't do it.
That's the one thing I never got into, is the neckerchief. It's like,
well, yeah,
can't.
Complete garbage. It's like, no, it's dumb. I don't know. It's dumb.
What are the gadgets?
But anyway, Steve, do you own a garlic peeler?
No.
Have you ever seen one?
Isn't it the one where you just like put it in, you squeeze, and it all comes out?
Oh, the garlic press, yeah.
Garlic press, yeah.
Yeah, you ever use one of those?
I never got into garlic presses, garlic peelers, none of that. I just always did it by hand.
I'm going to make a confession. I don't really care what anybody thinks, but I like to buy the peeled garlic, the whole cloves, like from like Sam's.
Yeah, totally.
And also, I use the garlic too. I don't care.
The minced garlic? I use that too. Don't care.
I don't give a crap. Granulated garlic is honestly the biggest punch, and I use quite a bit of that. So
I like granulated garlic, salt, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I used to have a friend who she would come over and cook with me, and one time she found my minced garlic in my fridge, and she tried to give me a hard time for it. And I told her, "Don't want to hear it. I like it. It makes my food taste good. Yeah. Just shut your mouth."
Yeah. You were like, "I said good day. I said good day."
Yeah.
Steve,
like, who are you to tell me what I should use and should not use? I'm at home. Who cares?
Hey, Steve, hold tight. I'm going to take you out of the feed and put you right back in. I think your Wi-Fi is on delay. Just a second. All right.
Take two?
Should be good now. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, yeah. It was just your words weren't matching your face.
And it speeds up and slows down.
Yeah. No, it's no worries. Yeah. So what about the chopper? You seen it on TikTok or Instagram, like the dicer?
I've had those. I've used like the dicers. Those, they're all right, but I feel like they make your vegetables mushy more than anything else because,
it's
like
drama.
It's a mushy dice. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like they're okay, and I think they're really great if somebody has a physical something where they can't use a knife the way it was intended, or they don't feel safe doing so.
But you still have to like slice stuff if you want a decent dice, no?
Yeah, so you still have to cut things to put in there. You could maybe buy them in that stage. So if it's helpful for somebody to use, or you like it, more power to you. I think that they wear out quickly because of the amount of force that you have to exert.
Yeah, I can see that totally. I can totally see that. But no, I mean, I'd rather just dice stuff myself. whether it's a half-ass dice or a full-ass dice, like I would rather just dice it myself with my knives.
Yeah.
The dicers are cool, but I can dice just as fast as someone can use that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
No, and it's not me being arrogant or cocky. It's just
that's true. Like
years of experience.
You can, right? And for somebody who can't, or for somebody who doesn't, maybe time is a luxury and you want everything to be the same size, then like go for it. You know, if you want everything to be the same size and you feel like your time is worth more money than you spent on the chopper and you don't have all day to do that, and like, yeah, excellent. Do it.
Yeah.
You know, now that, have you seen those home French fry punches that they have?
No.
They make them, you know, it's just like the ones that we've used before, like in the business.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of like a smaller version that has like a plastic box that'll catch the fries after. And it kind of has like the grid, and then it has like the plunger that you put on top. I wouldn't mind using that because I were going to make fries at home, and it kind of makes me want to like make fries in the air fryer, to be honest. So, Steven, can we talk about fries real quick?
Tell me about fries.
I think Sonic and I are done. I think Sonic and I are done forever.
What happened?
I went there last night to try the new Sonic Smash Burger. I don't think it's like super new. I'm just very behind. But it was god awful. And they replaced their fries with what they call groovy fries because I think somebody probably owns the patent or the copyright for the word crinkle. So they call them groovy fries because they have grooves. They are so garbage, Steven. Oh my gosh.
Maybe they were having an off night.
Dude, no, I never felt so much sadness eating Sonic before, ever. It was terrible. I was like, oh, it just tastes like sad.
I could just picture you crying and still eating those fries.
No. I had like 3 bites and I was like, yeah, no. And then I ate half the burger and I was like, well, what a waste of my time. And
how do you mess up a smash burger though?
What it's like, it wanted to be good. It just wasn't. And their whole claim for fame for this like new item is that they're serving it on a warm potato bun. It was not. It was like cold and stale. And then it just, something about I don't know. I think they were going for like garlic butter or like different kind of cheese. The cheese tasted weird with the mustard. I'm just like, ugh. I texted, and I just wanted a burger all day, right? And so I texted a really dear friend of mine. I was like, do you ever just have a blah day where like nothing tasted right and nothing was right? And she was like, yes, I understand completely. Because the tea didn't taste very tea-y, and the burger didn't taste burgery the way I wanted it. Now the fries sucked.
That's what you get for going to Sonic Bell. Terrible.
What you get for going to McSonic. Yeah. It was just awful.
I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you.
I don't know if I'm going back or not. And then I texted my brother, the fast food aficionado, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I think Brahms is kind of it for me. He's like disappointed with all the burgers out there right now. I was like, yeah, but I don't have one of those here. So sad.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, homemade fries in the air fryer. I want to do that. So I need to go to TikTok and find that kind of French fry. I'm sure it's on like a influencer sale.
They're gonna air fry them and then air fry them again, and then dredge them in cornstarch and then air fry them again. And
gross.
I have yet to do air fried French fries. I should though, just because you can. Should you?
Doesn't mean you necessarily should. Yes, agreed. Well, I did watch a chef the other day. Like, he went through the traditional process. Well, I say traditional. So for everybody who doesn't know, typically when you make French fries in a restaurant setting, you blanch them first, but it's not in water, it's in oil, right? So you might cook them at 200 degrees until they're almost translucent on the edges, until kind of all the bright white is gone from the potatoes, and then you would cool them. And then the next time you cook them is like 350. So essentially the first cook kind of makes it fluffy on the inside, and then the next cook gets all the remaining liquid out and crisp up the outside. So, but if you were like cooking vegetables or like pork cooking pasta or something, and we said blanching, we would mean in water. So I watched this person do the blanch process in water with a little baking soda and salt, pat them dry, refrigerate them, and then put them in the air fryer. They looked pretty good. So I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment until I try it. But
we should try this.
Yes. And I mentioned this on another podcast that we were on, but like I like tofu in the air fryer. So I don't know.
I haven't done that yet, but it sounds good.
It's good. Freeze it, press all the water out of it, shred it up to where it looks like chicken, lightly coat it in cornstarch, or I use chickpea flour, and put it in the air fryer and it's super crispy. And then I douse it in like General Tso sauce or like Kung Pao. Or even teriyaki.
Interesting.
Yes. Or like honey sriracha. Yeah, it's good.
Or Parmesan garlic.
It needs flavor because tofu is just basically
bland.
Like potato. It's like potato, basically, essentially.
Yeah. So it's as good as you want to make it.
Steve, do you have an electronic can opener or a hand one?
I used to have a hand one. I love the hand can openers, but I have electronic now because the hand can opener that I had, I broke it because I used it that much.
Hulked it out? You're just like,
I used it that much, you know?
Yeah, you wore it out. Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, it was like less than $1. You get what you pay for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Yeah, electric can openers are fine, I guess. Whatever.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
I just have a plain old hand can opener. I have never had an electric one. I like take that back. I did for a couple years, but it was like whatever.
I'm bougie. So, that's
why. You're bougie. Yeah. You're bougie. What about trying to think of some stuff I've seen. Waffle iron. Have it?
I have 2. I don't think I have 3. I have 2 for sure. So I like waffle irons. Do I use them? Not really. But they are available whenever I need them.
You're not making keto waffles over there?
No. I bought like a regular waffle iron that's like about that big.
Yeah, sure.
And they come out real flat. And then I got like one of those Texas ones. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
So
my wife was like, we don't need to. And I'm like, yes, we
do. You do. One's thick and one's thin.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw one today I think you would be really interested in. So it has, it's going to be hard to explain this. I don't know. It has indentions on both sides. So it has like a deep well on both sides. And it has the flip mechanism.
Right.
But the sides don't meet each other. And there's like a ring, like a collar you put in between there. And the idea is that you stuff them. So you open halfway through after the batter is kind of firmed up, and then you put like Nutella or fruit in the middle, and then then it kind of like comes back on each other, and it makes like a stuffed waffle. I want that. Except
I would too.
Except I don't want to use it to make waffles. I want to put cornbread on both sides and put chili in the middle. That's what I want.
I would probably buy it and never use it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, novelty stuff like that is like, I think it's really fun if you have having people over, or it's like a really fun the first time, and then you're like, well, I'm not going to use this on a Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Or could you?
Or was it? Yeah. Steve, when's the last time you used a Parisienne scoop at your house, or like an apple core, or a zester? Ever?
Or
channel knife.
Can't say
I
can
never,
remember.
Right? Yeah. The last time I used a Parisienne scoop was to make potato skins. Good use for it. Like hollowed out. And it's good for deviled eggs too. It's a nice you could just pluck a yolk out of a half of an egg, a boiled egg. So do you have an egg poacher?
Nope.
Or you just boil them in water?
I just boil them.
I'm so bad at it. God, I'm bad at it.
I could be better, but
I don't have
the patience. Worse.
I don't have the patience. I want everything now.
Same.
Steve, what are you cooking the most on the stove? Do you have a preferred? Are you the cast iron guy, non-stick, ceramic?
I've been using a lot of cast iron, but I do have a non-stick pan that I use quite often, mostly for eggs and stuff like that. You know, but everything else is in the cast iron.
Yeah,
I don't use a whole lot of stainless. What about you?
Well, I have one little one-off pan that's just specifically for eggs. Like it's good for three fried or a tiny omelet or a little bit of scrambled. It's not good for more than one person, but it is like pristine non-stick. Like does not have a mark on it, and it's the egg pan. Like it is a single usage. So I didn't pack my cast iron skillet with me, but I've been into enamel cast iron. So I have like kind of like Stove or Le Creuset, but it's like the Amazon brand because they're super affordable. So I have the red with the white on the inside. I have sizes.
One of those too.
Yeah, I have 2 sizes of that Razor pan. Like, you can't beat. It's like $45 is an incredible price. And I found that, I learned that if you scratch them, like I used a Whiskin one time and it wasn't a good idea because you could make marks on it. If you do that, you can use a barkeeper's friend and it'll buff out. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Or you can use a little baking soda and it'll buff out too. So if you ever make marks on it, all is not lost, but I digress. I have some stainless. Gosh, I have some stainless that I probably bought when I moved to my first apartment, and I use it for rando stuff like ramen. If I just have to boil something, like nothing too complicated. And I have a big stainless sautoir that I'll use for like braise because it has a glass lid and it can go in the oven.
Yeah.
So for anybody out there that doesn't know, a sautoir is a frying pan with straight-sided edges. So, yeah.
I have one of those.
Breaking out all the fancy terms.
Look at us.
Hey, look at us.
We know what we're doing.
Look at us doing our thing. And you have a crock pot, obviously.
Yes.
Do you have a slow cooker or just a crock pot?
Crock pot.
Yeah.
No slow cookers.
You don't have an Instapot, do you?
I don't. What about you?
No, I've given several as gifts, and I've had the chance to own one several times, but I just decided I wasn't going to get my money's worth out of it. They're expensive.
Yeah.
So I know that you can do like a chicken in 30 minutes. I don't know. People like to say that, but it's just like have you ever used a pressure cooker? Like the old school one?
I have not, no.
Well, you have to depressurize it and you have to let the steam out very slowly or you'll get injured badly. And
probably why I never did one.
Yeah, so the Instapot is like, it's 30 minutes to cook, but then you gotta let it sit. You have to let it sit for quite a while so it's safe, like de-steam. But no, I just decided I wouldn't get the proper use. The only thing that kind of interested me in it was like I thought I was going to make my own yogurt for a while, but it's not happening. It's not. It has the yogurt setting, and I was like, no, I don't think so. Okay. It's okay.
I don't know about ever making my own yogurt. Pass.
Is it because why?
Because you could just buy it from the grocery store.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was another reason.
It's the same reason why I don't kill animals, because you can just get it from the grocery store.
Like, why? I don't even know where tacos live.
Right?
Good thing I don't have to hunt them. So yeah.
Exactly.
What's another notable tool in your repertoire, as it were, at your house? What's the most used? What's your workhorse?
Ooh, most used? I don't have one. I mean, I use my sous vide from time to time.
Fancy.
Yeah. Like I said, my most used kitchen tools, my knives, my cutting boards, and my pots and pans.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
I probably use my crock pot quite a bit. Probably equal to the oven or the air fryer or the stovetop. But yeah, it's knives and cutting boards for sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of have like one large clear glass mixing bowl that is used for everything. It's basically the perfect size for everything.
Even my smoker, I hardly use my smoker. Every now and then I will, but not really.
You'll use it when it comes back around to summer, though.
Oh, I like to use it year round. But I mean,
like
I use it year round, but like I said, I don't use it very often.
Yeah, I get it. When was the last time you used it?
July?
Yeah. Well, around your birthday, you have a smoked.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
All right, then. What is any gadget you think that people shouldn't buy?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, who would I be to say, oh, don't buy this, and don't buy that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a couple of things that I've seen like here and there that I'm like, oh, this is kind of silly. One that comes to mind is like the chicken shredder. I don't know if you've seen it, but it kind of looks like it's like 2 discs with spikes on them, and you put the chicken in and you like twist it around. I just feel like you could do that with your hands or forks.
Yeah.
But okay, hey, have fun if that's what makes you happy. You know, egg separators make me giggle a little bit. I have 2 egg separators. They came with me at birth, right here. I don't know, whatever. I mean, it's no shade to anybody. If you think that stuff's cute or fun, or if it makes your life easier, go for it. Like if something's gonna get somebody into the kitchen where they weren't gonna be in the kitchen before, then I guess I'm all for it. You know, pizza scissors comes to mind. I don't know if you've ever seen those, Steve. They look like sewing scissors, but
why
they're
not just use
pizza? Use a knife.
Right.
Just use the knife. I don't understand. There's just some things that don't make sense to me, but hey, like if it makes you happy, do it. I don't know.
What about like a tuna press?
Like for canned tuna?
Yeah, that's a pretty useless one.
Gross.
Because you could just use a strainer if you want to get all your tuna juice out.
Ugh.
No?
Yeah, I don't. What's it look like?
It's just like a little circle. Like it looks like a strainer, and what you do is you put it.
Yeah, in the can.
Yeah, and then you turn it over and get all the liquid
just use a strainer. Like what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of frustrating. Do you have a spice grinder, Steve?
No.
I find that I use my. Do you use your blender for that?
If I have to, yeah.
I use my spice grinder for spices and coffee and sometimes seeds. And it was something that I didn't have to pay for. It was like a restaurant was closing and they had an extra one in the box, and I asked if I could have it, and it was a freebie. You know, too bad I was losing my job in the process, but yeah, here's this spice grinder. But I've used it a lot more than I thought I would. So that one was a surprise.
When I was in restaurants, yeah, I used it quite often, you know, because you want to make sure like you toast your spices and then grind it and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, I think it makes a big difference versus just grinding or like, you know, throwing it in a blender, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can get things a lot finer, but it's also a real beast to clean.
Yeah, totally.
You can put rice in there. That's the hack, right? Is like you put dry rice in your spice or coffee grinder and pulse it a few times and pour it out. But that rice starts to clump. And if you live anywhere that has any humidity whatsoever, which apparently humidity is huge in the Carolinas, it sticks in there. And then you still have to put your fingers close to the blades, and yeah, fun times. So
pass. We're not losing fingers here. Okay?
Can't lose the fingers today. So
not today.
Yeah, buddy. Well, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to chat with you about some tools.
Tools or tools.
Tools and gadgets and gizmos. There's about 1,000 things we probably didn't talk about, but those were the top of mind. And you know, at the end of the day, I say if like it makes it easier and it's getting homemade food onto your plate, then do it.
And if you got the space for it too.
Yeah, if you have the space, use what makes you happy. I don't like stuff on my counter, so that probably accounts for the reason that I don't have 1,000 things. So
yep, same here.
It's like the one place that I can keep organized.
Yeah,
it's control. It's about control. Steven, what are you cooking this week?
Not sure yet. We'll figure it out as we go.
Not sure yet. Do you still have the brisket though?
It's still in the freezer, so I need to take it out and start brining it for about a month or so.
Yes. Okay. A month from now, I want a corned beef update then.
Deal.
Are you going to make your own spice mixture?
Yeah, you have to.
You don't have to. They sell it.
Okay, I'll buy it. Well played. Work smarter, not harder.
You don't have to. You could though. You could use the spice grinder that you never use, or the blender.
That I don't have. Yeah, exactly.
Hey. All right, Steve. We got to go. I'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.